Hi, everybody. Today is one of those days where anything goes, about the things I sort of read about. I've already gotten several people who posted early in the comments. I'm going to warn you, if you don't post within, I can follow the comments up to about 10 minutes before, 15 minutes before I go live because I can't, it requires being in two places at the same time. And so if someone posted in the last 15 minutes, you might want to retype it in again in the chat comments. And let's see what's been going on. Oh, I want to remind everybody about the lovely uh, show we did Thursday with Jean um, from Evolving. Here it is. Yeah. From Evolving Spirit. And she sent me in this cute little package is sort of a sample. Now, these are sample size. There's an eye cream called Wink. And she didn't have those, I don't think, that day. And then there's Skin Rich. And, I couldn't say much about them because I'd never tried them. Well, I've tried them now, and they're very, 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 um, they're not like gooey, white, creamy. They're like clear, and it doesn't take much to do your face. So if you're interested in that, and the Wink is a night cream for your eyes. And she said, now, if you wear false eyelashes or mascara, you need, and I'm like, girl, really? False eyelashes and mascara? Does this look like a face? It's had a lot of that on it. As a matter of fact, last time I decided, I'd like to try a little mascara. And I went to find it in my makeup kit. I got to remember reading about articles about people who used makeup that was too old and all the strange things it did to them. So I ditched that idea. Um, and she also sent me this wonderful little tube of, it's an aromatherapy, and it's called Grounding. And I don't know how to explain it, but it does smell. It smells like that sort of fresh, loamy smell you get outside. Anyway, I wanted to thank Jean for very kindly sending these to me. And so, if you're interested in any of that, please contact her. I'm sure she'd love to talk with you and help you. Okay. And let's see what else we got going on here. What's been going on in my world? Well, I'm beginning really, really, really to do the 9 candles and get it all together. I'll show you that's the graphic that I've had created for the 9 candles, and it's all about becoming. And you're going to see, if you come to the 9 candles, you're going to see a lot of that. I finished the meditation this morning for it. I've gotten uh, 5 of the 9 people who have agreed to be part of the candles have booked dates. So it's going to be like a real thing soon. And a lot of work goes into that in the back because we tape all of the 9 candles, the different sessions before, and then we run them as premieres during that week. And it starts on the 11th of June and it goes to the 20th, and I'm doing it up to the solstice. And that's what I'd always been told. That's what my guides had always said to me, do it coming up to the solstice. And, and at first when all this happened, it's when I wasn't feeling very good. And I did not have the world's most positive reaction to the eclipse. I thought the one in November I had a great reaction to. I felt really good. But the one in April, we've gone through so many photonic shifts and so much change of energy. And I've been following those since 2017. Maybe I'll do another show on how our part of the galaxy rolled out of some sort of energy field that was in the universe that was protecting us from an influx of photonic energy. And we roll into this, as we rotate around, we roll through this area every 12,500 years, between 12,500 and 13,000 years. And the way I knew about that was when I was first studying stones. um, I read an article about how sometime between 2017 and 2018 that the geobiologists and the people who watch that sort of stuff, and also just scientists, realized a lot of photonic energy was, because every time there's a supernova, it sends out huge amounts of photonic energy. And it used to be, I can remember watching a 60 Minutes show, I think in the 1980s. See what a geek I am. I watch things about photonic energy. But they were talking about how hard it was to catch these subatomic particles called photons. And they had to build these giant ways to watch for them at the base of caves. And it was really, really tough. And I mean, they knew they were there, and they'd find a few a year, and they really studied them. And my husband, who is a physicist, said, well, that's the stuff that really messes up with your DNA and stuff as it floats through. So anyway, I wish my poor dear husband was still alive so I could ask him questions about that, but not going to happen. He left me in 2004. I could ask him from the other side, but he's not interested. He said, that's your world now. But they said that between 2017 2018 that we'd rolled into this change place, and that all of a sudden it's something that they'd followed in the rocks. Geologists had seen for as long as, geologists are looking for this stuff, that every about 13,000 years we would get such an impulse of energy on the earth that it would actually change the structure of the crystals. And this is when I was really getting into crystals, so I was reading everything I could about them. I thought, this is fascinating. So I kept following it, and then I found Rory Duff, who's a geobiologist. And there's a show, a matter of fact, this week, if you watch Pam Gregory, where he goes into what he's up to now. But he also is a person that got me really interested in ley lines. And yes, the ley lines are changing, and they're becoming solid. And it used to be they'd show up for a day or two. And now they're showing up almost all the time. And in 2025, they think they'll be available all the time. I know the ley line that I watch, it's not a big one. It goes up to one tree, but it's gotten bigger. And that's the other thing that I have been gotten messages from wherever I get those messages from. But the elementals want to be remembered during this time because it's really important. They are emerging, and this energy shift is changing them. And all I can say is that photonic shifts get more pronounced in the next 500 years, then we will see the shifts in the rocks on the planet again. And I mean, they're already historically in there. You talk to a geologist and they can go find them 13,000 years ago, 26,000 years ago, 39,000 years ago, and on and on and on back. So this is something that's been happening to the planet. And the message I got is it's actually changing our DNA, which may be part of why some of us are feeling cranky. Some of us are sleeping not so well, or some of us are sleeping and we can't get up. There's any variety of things, but we're going to go into all that because in the 9 candles, because part of the becoming is that our DNA is changing. So I guess I'll do a whole show on how all that fits together before the 9 candles. But to get to your questions, now you're probably questioning, why did I come watch this show? What is this woman talking about? And Dr. Gail's here. She's one of those people I talk to when I can't figure out a message I get. I call her up and I say, I saw this. What's it mean? So, and Cold Toast can be on because she learned how to use her cell phone, her smartphone, to follow us. I read Cold Toast 6 months. She's got a marvelous 6 months coming up. I read her 6-month report, Actually, I gave her 7 months because we started in May. So she got June through December. And June through December is actually 7 months. And it looks really good for her. And I'm glad. I love it when I read people and their readings are really good because I've been doing a lot of right now readings, the 3 month or just I have a specific question I want to know about. And a lot of them, when they said all of a sudden change would come and it would come really fast. Oh, I read two people back to back where their whole world went. This was my world. Now this is my world. And when they had booked their appointment with me, they thought things were going wonderful. So I thought, I'll book my appointment now because things look good. And by the time we got there, change had found them. Although the changes are good. I mean, sometimes it's hard to tell. But anyway, I've got everything out. And if you prefer a method of reading, I've got out the pendulums. I've got out the cards. I've got out the garden. I've got out just me sitting here talking. If I've had some people requesting, a lot of people want to know what can I use at this point in time to protect myself. And I think one of the stones you should seriously look into is this. Right now, I think this is a really important stone. This is a tiger's eye. And this particular tiger's eye, I got it because I saw it in a rock store in Austin. And it has, besides having my screen reflected back on it, it has every color that you can get in tiger's eye. And it's all in one tiger's eye. And I actually keep it in a little base on my desk when I'm reading. And I really like it. And I think tiger's eye right now, tiger's eye and highly polished obsidian are both really, really good to protect yourself for and especially if you're starting to feel like you're being bullied. And personally, right now, I think if the sun doesn't quit spitting out the stuff it doesn't want anymore and spraying it down on us, I'm starting to feel bullied by the sun. So, my personal comment on it. So, we're going to switch to the table. And this lady wants to know if we're going to go to the table. I'm sorry, this system, StreamYard, requires a couple flicks. And yes, I'm burning some incense today just because I felt like that was a good move. These are the pendulums I have out. And these are the stones. And we're going to roll stones. Excuse me. I thought I had the ringer off. My problem is when I turn the ringer off, then I don't get the phone calls. And I've been waiting on some phone calls. So excuse my phone. Yes, it sounds like an old-fashioned British phone. Because that's the kind of phones I grew up with. Okay, Sarah. Sarah Broyles back, I think. Anyway, studios. Will the tale I've been writing be a success when it's finished? And I'm going to roll this out. I'm going to get rid of your little banner so we can see. It's not helping me any much. I'm going to put it back. When I did the first shot of this, you can see everything. So you're just going to have to trust me when I read what's in these spaces. When I read about your thing, I thought this is a timing thing. And you can tell time on the garden. This is winter, spring, summer, fall. We're kind of, if you were thinking about us in time, we're kind of right here. But so we're going to see, will your tale be a success when it's finished? And I'm going to try and see a time that's going to be closer to being finished for you too, Sarah. I hope that helps. Okay. Okay, you've worked really hard on it this winter. You're solidifying a lot of stuff in the spring. I think summer is when it's going to be done, but then there's going to be some sort of kafloogering about it, paperwork or stuff. So I think by winter you're going to know about the final outcome. But let's see what kind of a success it will be when we read the spaces. For those of you not familiar with the garden, this is body, mind, spirit, grounding, and clarity. And this stone is a sodalite. If you're used to seeing sodalites, you're used to seeing them all polished up and they look a very beautiful blue. I don't use polished stones in the garden because when you throw them, they go all over the place. So, we're going to start at the base of when we've been working on it. And this tale has been really important to you. You've been letting go of a lot of limitations. You've been writing it, or putting it together, however you're doing it. You're getting it together and you're letting go of the limitations that held you back in the past. And you know this is better than other work you've done. You knew from the very beginning that this was settling you into some long-term patterns, and you've really, really gotten into it. Now your spirit's in air, and that's in this season right now. And your spirit right now is transforming your thinking. I think you're getting closer to seeing it finished, and you're feeling better about it spiritually. I think that's helping lift your sense of success. Your body is in earth, and earth is of the elements, is the one that we grow out of, and that's good. Changes are coming in the book, and it may be changes within you to help you stay together and keep working on it. I can't even imagine writing a book. I used to write plays, but it's when I was a dumb kid and I could lock myself in my room for 48 hours and type, and I just walk out and it would be done. But I can't imagine trying to split up an adult life and write. It's not it's very hard. Maybe my guides will tell me how to do it one day. But what's really important for you, this is in the root chakra, and your clarity is in your root chakra, and that's really important. You're tying, when you get to this end point, you're going to be tying together the basic wisdom you've had your whole life to make that all these actions and how you function come together. So I think it's going to be real success, and I think you're going to have some deals show up that in the summer. Fall's going to be, I don't know what, people, election year falls are bad anyway. I don't know how the world you live in, but that's kind of my experience with it. So this is the one you need to hold on to. You're tying all the cosmic wisdom you're needed to make this a success. So I think it looks really, really good. And then we've got envision transformation coaching. What is the right course of action for me at this time to continue developing and strengthening my psychic skills? Thank you. I think I'm going to throw you in the garden too. And the way I'm going to word it is, how do the stones feel about helping you strengthen and develop your psychic skills at this time? Ooh, they're all down here in the bottom and you can't see them. But the mind's down here. Part of it is, and I'm going to turn this off so you can see where those hit, because they hit in false. False doesn't mean false. False means you have to do a lot of rethinking. But your mind and your spirit fell together in false. And your problem is you get off on paths and you think you're moving in the right direction and you talk yourself into that. And the other thing, where your whole thing ought to be that you are aligned with what your spirit tells you to do. Because your clarity stone, and I can't do much about that because it's no, I'm not gonna try, is in the heart. Is in the heart chakra, and clarity in the heart is a great place. Wisdom comes through you really facing your own emotions about what you're working on And I think that's why you're wavering. You see a lot of different paths. You're just not sure which one to go through. Now, your body is here in restate, past, and fire. And fire, if you understand the shamanic view of elements, is past life, old life, past lives. And I think it's going to relate to past lives because these two are in here. But it's just things you carry that you need to use. You carry them and you can't discard all of it. You use the energy from this and what you've got in. You've worked on some particular area in the past and you felt very good there. And for some reason, you're deluding yourself. No, I need to go in this new direction because it seems snazzy and it's what everybody's talking about. That's not where you need to go. You need to go into what's really, really helped your psychic skills in the past. Even if it's like, oh, that's so yesterday. Well, it's not yesterday. You need to get back into doing it that way. And your body being in restate, this just tells you what you already knew when you wrote the question, and I hate to do that, but the options are not clear. And your past. Yeah, look to previous forms that have served you. You right now, because your clarity's in your heart. Heart's where all the heart's right in the middle of our system. It's in the middle of the chakra system. And it's kind of, I know people say it starts from the root and comes up and then it gets to the heart, or it starts at the top and gets to the heart. Trust me, if your heart is not totally involved and engaged in what you're doing, it's never going to work because your heart will block the energy that's either coming in from the divine or coming up from the earth. And so the first thing I would say to you that you need to be working on right now to strengthen your psychic skills is go back to basics. Go back to things that really worked for you before because you have your grounding in earth. And earth is where all things grow from. And more is being brought forward to you right now. But that more may be going back and looking at something else that worked for you before that helped your energy spark and fly. And I think you're getting, if you really think about it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Because I just have the sense you know what the answer to this is. You've just like been there, done that. Don't go back and look at something you've been there and done and see if you can start it up again, or if there's some part of it that you can strengthen that will make it grow broader. I hope that helps. Timing wise, this summer is going to be very big for you because all your stones were in the summer. So I think by the end of summer, you're going to be ready to go forward and move ahead. Now, the next person is, oh, this goes back. This is another show I did. Brian Beecher, he was in a car accident. The guy hit him because of the time of day. The police didn't send cop cars out. Now his insurance is denying Brian's claim. And the next day he received an email saying collection efforts were unsuccessful. What next? Okay, let me see if I can. I'm going to do tarot for this because it's one of those practical world. I guess I could throw stones. No, I don't want to because I think there's still something up in the air. I had a similar situation to Brian, which I won't bore you all with, but I eventually went and won, but I had to go to the Texas State Insurance Commission to do it. So he may not want to go that far. But your insurance agent's not doing you any favor because they're the ones that can get these guys to pay up, and especially because I don't know how they accepted the thing in the first place, but I think you had the feeling you were going to get paid. What's the answer for Brian? And I hope it doesn't say abandon all hope ye who enter here. It's your insurance company. They don't want to fight with these guys. They don't want to talk with them. I think you need to go back and talk with your insurance people. They're not really strong, but they can get you your money. You have to push harder on the insurance people and say, how can they do this? They agreed to do it to this point, and then start looking around. Or I don't know what state you live in. All the state laws are so different, Brian. But this says, yes, you're going to get your money. But it says right now, you've got people retreating from battle and people not willing to argue for you, not to try to get things balanced for you. So I'm trying to think of a question I can ask that can clarify the. I don't know, Brian. I think this may be something you're just going to have to contact me personally about, and we'll get there. Let's see if I have any more. I have a few questions came in at the very first, and okay. Hi, Brian. Okay. Okay. Comments. So, hi, Angla and Cold Toes. They're up there where it's still cold, and Cold Toes is, well, Angla isn't. She said it was 80 degrees, I think, the other day. She lives in Finland. That kind of fun. Okay. This one I'm going to pull out my past life cards. And Carolyn Adams, I felt a connection with the Essenes since reading the Dolores Cannon book. Did I have a past life there? I think you did, and I'm going to pull these cards. I'm going to use this past life deck. That's what it looks like. And it was done years ago by Doreen Virtue and Brian Weiss. And I saw Brian Weiss do a whole weekend on past lives and transcending the barriers. And I put 3 cards out about Carolyn's life with the Essenes. Yeah, you clearly were there. It was rural. I'm taking farm in this because I don't think there's a desert card in this deck. But there's farmers. You went out there for forgiveness because you did what Essenes did, which is they felt like society was corrupt, getting the hell out of here. And you went out there with full trust and faith. And yes, you very clearly, Carolyn, were aligned with the Essenes. And you had a past life there. Let's see if I can use one Prague to figure out what the lesson you brought forward from that life was. These are my cards that the other day the fairy stole. I was trying to get to them, and they were in this slot on my wall, and I thought, oh my God, I must have moved them somewhere, and I couldn't find them. And the next morning I walked in, and they were sitting on this thing looking at me, and I went, thanks, guys. That really helps when I'm in a pinch. So this is the message for you from that life. Oh, it was beautiful there. And being back in a spiritual bent, probably you're just loving this whole increase about and the messages. It is beautiful where I am. And the souls that are still tied to you from the other side are saying, I wish that just for one moment I could share my world with you. This heavenly realm is beyond description. There are colors, hues, patterns, all sorts of different types of singing, and it comes alive. Here is a brilliant light that permeates everything, and everything is in it is filled with an indescribable joy. Here you suddenly become aware of that you're connected to everything. There's no anger, no hardness in the world. Those emotions have been replaced by overwhelming joy and peace, which I think is what you found when it said trust and faith. Um, it is heaven. It is a place where you're waiting, where we're waiting to greet you again. I think you're beginning, I think being with the Essenes and being part of that community gave you an incredible sense of spiritual joy. And, there's a lot of people who say that we're going to join our old spiritual joy things all together. So I would say that, yes, first of all, yes, you were there. And second of all, it was a lovely place for you to be. And this is Cindy S. I just started a new job. I'd like to know if it's the best fit for me or should keep an eye out for another opportunity. It's early days. Okay. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if you should stay there first. And then if it's when you move, we'll put it in the garden to see if there's a time element to that. Are other people still reacting? They tell me that in another week or so, we're going to get another coronal emissions, which is a lot of photonic energy. And see, because I've the last few days, it's been really good. I've been sleeping 8.5 hours and I've been feeling much better, but I'm trying to get stuff together on what's going on in my world. So Cindy S's new job. You don't feel like you fit in the role, and you don't feel like you fit in the role in this company. And my overall feeling is you took the job, you're going to learn a lot of stuff there, you're going to carry out with you. You've just gotten there and you realize this is not a great fit for me in this company. Although the people you work around with, for the most part, are pretty nice. I mean, that there's a possibility to work into that. But they're more of a family kind of thing. And I don't know, you may be one of those people that wants to go to work and come home and not be in a family, or you may want a family. I don't know how they're behaving. So what we're going to do is I'm going to throw in the garden, and we're going to see, is there a further job move for Cindy? Well, your spirit jumped off the table, but I'm going to put it in the root chakra because that's where it bounced off from. When that happens, I tend to think you're not listening to your spirit enough when you're looking for jobs. You're looking for security. But you need to feel secure in the situation as well as the financial situation. This stone tells me why you're rethinking things. Your clarity's there and you've gotten there, and either things were not told to you as they appear now in restate. And you feel it in the back of your brain, you're just not sure what it is. And you have another stone out here, and you have your grounding stone out here in the future. All the gifts of this job are not yet recognized. And I think if you do move, it'll be within this group, within this company, because your body is in earth and things are changing around you. You're going to get clearer about it, but your mind is on fire. And okay, I think you can maybe make you're going to get a chance to move within this company. Trust me, where you are right now, it's not where you're fixed to be. But something's happened since you've moved into that job. And it reminds you of some old job that really didn't work. You need to think on that and get that out of the way, because that's the dilemma that's not well defined. Is it this job that's not well defined, or is it remembering a job that didn't work out the way you wanted it to. But either way, you've got a great future. I mean, but if you were to change, if I were to look at this, you wouldn't find anything until fall, and you wouldn't make the move until winter. Okay. Okay. Everybody's saying good morning and being polite little chipmunks with each other. Thank you. And by the way, I still do have a tarot class. I was going to start on the 23rd, and if the lady is in the chat that's supposed to be on the 23rd, I have to talk to you. But I had a lot of people get back in touch with me and say that ran them right through the new holiday weekend, which I didn't even look at. So what I'm going to talk to this other lady, but I think I'm going to either shift the class forward. But if you are interested, please let me know, because I'm willing. If Thursday night's just a terrible night for people to meet, to come and okay. I'm highlighting some more questions came in. I will not be starting the tarot course on the 23rd, but I still have lots of rooms for readings. I have lots of rooms for the 6-month readings, and oh, good, Sarah. Oh, Sarah Burrell's back for Fortio Studios when I was younger. Well, Sarah, you're doing the right thing. Your ideas are all moving in the right direction. Karen Johnson's back after 3 weeks of being out because of internet problems. You know about those. Okay, I'll mark it. Brian, you're just going to have to, I know it's not your insurance, but your insurance company can go and fight with them better than you can. Or else, I mean, I don't know how else to say that. That's always kind of worked for me. What I see is there is some way to get there. You just, the cards aren't telling me who you need to go. General reading. Got an Etsy store. Okay, now all of a sudden, people. Mm-hmm. Lots of moving, lots of changing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so. Okay. May I have a reading about my sources of funds from a job project I'm trying to book, if it's happening, and if my friend James is closing his deals this week? Okay. I'm going to do this with the cards. That's 2 questions, Carl. So I'm going to do 2 5-card pulls for you. Okay, the first one's going to be, is Carl going to get the resources he needs to work on that job project? And the second question I'm going to read, and I'll lay the cards one after the other, so I'm setting the deck up to do that. And by the way, I know a lot of people say, you don't shuffle the cards a whole lot. I came to terms with the universe. It puts them where it wants them. And I could sit here and shuffle one deck all day, and it's going to put them where it wants them to be. I really don't like shuffling as a thing. So, Carl. Okay. The first line is going to be the funding, sources of funds for your project. It's this line. You're really worried about them. They're going to be there eventually, but it's going to be longer than you thought. It's going to be like uh, 10 days or 10 weeks. I hope it's not 10 months. But what it shows is there were some fun problems with communicating about the funding, and now you just tend to dwell on what you haven't gotten. You may need to open your mind up to other sources, and I don't know if you can do that or not. And then there's some young person you deal with about handling this information, or maybe this is you. You're just so used to being disappointed in people, you don't trust them, and so when you put the appraisals out there, you don't put them out with the energy of I'm going to get this. But it's such a good idea. I think you're going to get it within 10 days or 10 weeks. Now, this is your buddy, James. Yeah, James is going to close this deal this week. It's because he gave up control over it. He really, but whoever he's doing this with, they both kind of went out of it. They're both coming out in a winning position because they both have the magician. This is the people James has been dealing with. One of them has kind of a sharp tongue, but the other one can see the value in the project. And it really is that they've given up having to have everything their way to close those deals. So he's going to be able to close his deals. And you just have to be a little more patient. And I can tell you, I think one of the things we're going to feel is a real energy shift around the solstice, which is the 20th this year. And yay, Anglo might have sun wind this week. Texas has a sun wind every week, and we don't want it. Okay, yeah, this is something else to pray about. The EU elections on the 9th of June. I don't go Google it. I don't know enough to be able to tell you much about it now. Sure. Okay. Okay. Let's see how the stones, body, mind, spirit, grounding and clarity, see your energy in June and July. Okay. Oh, cool. You got one in the tree of life. That's good. But we're going to start with your spirit, and it's right in the middle. You're going to make me work, girl. I have to read all four of those. Your spirit transforms your thinking. Uh, it's been transforming. It's not yet finished. That's in this June and July. Um, Thoughts from the past have been clouding your ability to move forward. But at the end of those 2 months, your transmutation will be finished. And if you've had energetic problems, it's probably because you're transmuting and transforming. And so your bodies have to figure out, okay, I'm moving all this stuff around. How do I feel comfortable with it? The water, which is what carries things out of our lives, you have all the clarity you will need in this period of time. Follow the paths that allow you to use the best part of your life force and to resolve situations. So don't go looking for situations. Your body's between path forward and false, and path forward is physical changes are telling you to move. They're telling you to move, so your energy's telling you to move so you can take your next step and listen to your body's signals for what you need to do energetically. I think if you're going to get any health surprises, it's going to be that you're going to be in better health. But this, your clarification or your grounding is in fire, and that says clarification comes from dealing with your past. So if there's been something that's been a problem in the past, go deal with it. I mean, not dealing with it isn't solving it. So if that's been part of what's been showing up as the health surprises, that's the message I get from here. And from here I get your mind is in true. Positive thoughts are really helping you manifest the best outcome, and your mind is all, your mental powers are also in the tree of life, and you're open to radiant guidance right now. So this is telling me that your spirit's kind of spinning around here and it's going through this transformation. And that's going to be for the whole 2 months. But by the end of July, you're going to be all set and know where to go. You need to listen to your body and embody what's best for you. And you're going to know exactly how to deal with moving on. So you're not feeling all these shifts and changes all the time. And they're good shifts and changes because they're setting you up to have radiant guidance. So I'd take that reading. Okay. Oh, I've served dentistry and my fellow human beings for 42 years. Is that coming to an end? Okay. That's a better for me to read. Well, okay. I'm going to do a pendulum because it's kind of a yes no question. Okay. Okay. This is yes for me, and this is no. And it has been since I was a kid, so I'm not going to test it every time. Okay. Do I have permission to douse? Yes. Am I in touch with my higher spirit? And is this being done for the good of everyone? Okay, yes. Okay. I've served dentistry and my fellow human beings for 42 years. Is it coming? Okay, for Vernie. Is Vernie's time working as in dentistry coming to an end? Oh, it's between yes and no. I think it's going to be a slow pullout. I don't think it's just going to all collapse one day. But yes, it's coming to an end. So I guess I am going to end up reading it in the garden because I'd like a time frame. Is we're asking about, will Vernie's, this would be this right now. This is this summer, this fall, and this is next winter. And we're almost out of spring. So do you have a sense of when Vernie's dentistry career will end? This fall and winter, this summer and fall, pretty plainly. You've got your mind made up to go ahead and do it, basically. Your mind is in the future. And it says to think of the question you've asked in the future sense, and it shows that it's in the crown chakra. And it's okay. This one stone kind of tells me everything. We'll talk about that one too. But this stone says it's what your mind wants you to do. It's all really in your hands, whether or not it happens. That's why it won't say yes or no, because you gotta. There's not another outside influence, but you've got your grounding stone and water, and you got your grounding stone and water and then true. And everything you're doing right now is changing into long-term patterns, and you're seeing clearly what you want to do. So I think you're asking me about what you already know you want to do. That's okay. It could say, no, don't do that. Not real likely, but yeah, when you've changed jobs before, you're more worried about the financial future, and your body's kind of sitting here. Listen to if it's becoming physically exhausting for you to do this, get out of it. Just get out of it. But clarity says you need to do what your heart, what your body's telling you to do. So, um, I think it's going to end soon, Bernie. It's as soon as you want it to. Okay, let's see what else. Melody. Okay. Just a general reading for the next few months. Okay, we're going to do a quick 3-month reading. I I have a couple readers I haven't been able to pin down now. I mean, right at this moment. Um, do I have my? I'm going to do your reading and then I'm going to discuss something else. My mind gets scattered to the winds. Okay. This is a Celtic cross. This is the, I don't care what tarot book you buy, you're going to find this layout in the book. This is the 10 card layout. And people lay them out, they'll lay them out differently, but they're really talking about the same 10 cards. This is the basis, and this is what helps or hurts you. This is the past. This is the present. This is the far future. This is the near future. This is what hopes and fears, kind of where you are right now about things. It's sort of adds to this and this. These two go into the future. What's going to help out there to help you? Well, you got 3 kings in here, and they're none of them are right side up. I have a feeling you're having some arguments with some adult male figures, and if your dad's gone or whomever you really relied on is gone, they gave you some pretty negative starting points in your life, and I think you want to move forward in the next few months. And what you're going to keep doing is you're going to keep pulling in his energy, but you're going to pull it in a sharp-tongued man and someone who appears to be very loving and giving. I show at the base you're very well trained. You're very good at working with people. All I can tell you is what I see in these cards is the problem's not with you. It's old attitudes you carry forward that you won't let go of. You've been involved or you're involved in something right now that doesn't appear to be just or balanced, and you're trying to work your way out of it. So that's these cards have already happened. They're either happening right now or they've already happened, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it now. The Ace of Swords can also mean it's time for you to strike out and cut a new path for yourself with your sword. But we're going to look at the rest of the cards and see where that goes. You're being offered some job opportunities and stuff, and you're not being assertive enough by yourself to push yourself forward into that position. You kind of feel shy about that. I think it's in an industry you don't know much about, or it's a job structure you've not had a lot of experience with, or a life situation you've not had a lot of experience with. And that's what's bringing out these negative male attitudes that live in your head. Since your name's Melody, I'm presuming you're a woman. And so what you need to do is, this is the best part about getting a 10-card reading. These cards have already happened. Anything that's out here, you say, shit, I don't like that. I'm going to move it. So you say, no, I'm going to feel very adapted and capable of dealing with the situation I want. I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm going to go forward with yes, gung-ho, let's go there, let's get it. You can do 2 things with these guys. You can turn them around and make your understanding them a positive so you can use that energy to move forward, or you can decide you're not going to pay any attention to them at all. And don't sell yourself out. This is what you've done in the past. When these male energies rise up, you tend to diminish your own self-worth. Don't sell yourself short. So what I see you is moving forward into a new enterprise, and this is great. With the sword here, you're ready to go plow your own field, start your own thing, make it work, and just, you can turn this one around too. Page Pentacles. And I would suggest for you, you think about two images out of this reading. One is you're pulling the sword out of the stone. You're going to make sure everybody knows you've got the strength that you were inherited to have, like King Arthur. And you really are ready to make some good deals with people and to make some good connections with them. And that's all just about to happen. Just don't let yourself fall into that mindset of, oh, but what happened before? It's not going to happen that way. If you choose to pay attention, it's not going to happen that way. And we do have free will. I just saw some stupid YouTube show. I'm probably going to watch parts of it about how we don't have any free will. I love people that come up with those sorts of wonderful, incisive things. Let's see. Okay. I can do a couple more. And Nancy, you know how to reach me. Call me. We'll talk about that because that's going to be a little more involved. I'm going to do blue butterfly and look at your Etsy store real quick. And then I'm going to do a quick reading for Jen Miranda. And then I do promise you guys it's supposed to last about an hour. Since I chit-chatted at the beginning, I made it longer. Okay. Yeah, you start out with money. Get out of your own way. Learn how to keep things in balance. And don't worry about it, what it does. It's going to take you away from your family life a little bit. Don't worry about it. But you're going to end up making some good partners. This is a yes, yes. This is yes, no, yes, yes, no, yes. So the two negatives are, if you have to get your own ego out of the way to let things happen, pay attention to all the little notes they send you about how to make your Etsy store work. I don't know much about Etsy stores. I use Shopify, but okay, so that was Blue Butterfly. Oh, wait, that was you. That was Blue Butterfly. Your business will be a success. Then we're going to go to Jen Miranda. It's time for me to get off. I'm really screwing things up here. Could I have a general reading? Okay. How's the short-term future look for Jen? And then if you stay around for a little bit, it won't be readings, but I want to talk about an opportunity for maybe a couple of you to participate in the 9 candles. I was making my mind up today about inviting other people other than readers into the 9 candles. Next things. I know those look like horrible cards, but you're getting out of prison. I don't mean that I think you're in the county jail. I think that you've had some financial problems, but you're going to finally let them go and be relieved. There's a man at the center that you just need to get a hold of your money troubles. And you're not going to have to move. And I think you've been concerned about moving and about all the aggravations of that. And you're going to get yourself out of the money hole you're in, and you're going to get yourself away from the pressure. That's my Jen Miranda's general reading. Okay. Okay. Okay, this is an ad for me. It was awesome. Highly recommend it. I would love to do it with Jeffrey, but if the class is too small, it's not, it doesn't work that well. But I've got a couple of other options I'm willing to throw to people. And okay. Hi Sharon, glad you came in. I'm just trying to catch up to see if anything blows up at the end. There was somebody who wants a spiritual reading. You're just fine. Talk to your own guides. They're ready and willing to help you. Um, okay. Okay. Mm, okay. I don't see anything. Okay, I'm at the bottom. So now I'm going to go back to the camera. And okay. If you've followed Nine Candles, you know what I do is I have someone that comes on with me. Well, okay, this is going to hide current comment. That's a lovely comment, but it's got nothing to do with this. I've been toying with the idea of, you know, maybe bringing in a few civilians that are not readers necessarily, or just people part of the community, or people. I normally try to never work with anyone until they have a website and a channel and they're really in there, because I think it's, anyway. So if you might be interested in holding up one of the ends of the nine candles, these nine candles are all about becoming. It comes from a poem about a certain person who's fretting to God about having to let everything go to change. And God says at the end, you're not changing, you're becoming. You need to understand it's not a bad thing. Um, and then I gave each person that I've invited a list of words from the thesaurus about becoming, and encouraging them to, if they one of those words hit them as the word they'd like to talk about that day, that's what we can do. Today I finished the meditation and it's quite nice. So when you agree to come on and be one of the nine candles, I Zoom tape the meeting between us. Um, you have all the materials, you have all the meditation, all the stuff, so you can see it before we talk. And then we just talk about your point on becoming, because so many of us are changing so rapidly. So if there's any of you who followed me for a long time, or even follow me for a short time, but you really feel like this is something that calls to you to come on, email me at dun, 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 at that email, and we'll talk about maybe you coming on and doing it. I'm not making any promises to anybody. I just, it struck me today that maybe people want to hear more than just from readers who they've already heard them talk about everything else under the sun. And I would like to have some fresh ideas on it. And it's actually nine candles, but it runs 10 days, because the first day I do with Danny Shea, and we just describe what nine candles is about. Because the first time I did nine candles, I just upped and did it one day, and people were very confused. And then they said, I wish you'd told me before, so that I could have been ready for it. So anyway, that's what I'm up to. I'm doing readings. I'm doing things. If you have bought a garden and don't know how to read it, there's a very small membership fee, because twice a month I hold 2.5 hour classes on how to work with the garden. And it's a lovely group of people. So if you can go look on my space where it says to join, and it says there's a membership there that's for Oracle Gardens. Join there, and then you'll automatically get sent the invitations to come to that one private. That's the only thing I put behind a paywall. I I don't like to go behind paywalls either. So anyway, and so if you're interested in wanting to contribute and potentially to um, the 9 candles, let me know. And otherwise, I'm going to go rest because I've been working all day on this stuff. I'll talk to you later. Bye.